Hello and welcome to the English Like a Native podcast. My name is Anna and you're listening to week 32, day 5 of Your English 5 a Day, the second season. With this series, you are building and maintaining a healthy habit of dipping daily into the English language so that no matter what you do, as long as you listen on a regular basis, you are expanding your vocabulary, improving your listening skills, and slowly but surely starting to feel more like yourself when communicating in English. Now, today is Friday, so this is the day where we bring together all the vocabulary that we visited this week in one big story. So, all you have to do is sit back, relax, and listen. Let's go. A memorable Highland adventure. In the summer of 2011, my partner and I were on holiday in the Scottish Highlands when we decided to tackle Cairn Gorm, one of Scotland's most famous peaks. At 1,245 metres high, it's the sixth tallest mountain in the British Isles and sits proudly in the Cairn Gorm's range. What makes it particularly well known is the funicular railway that carries skiers to near the summit during winter months. Scottish mountains might not be the tallest in the world, but they are notorious for their unpredictable and harsh conditions. Cairn Gorm is especially famous for its extreme winds, sudden blizzards, and rapidly changing weather. The mountain even has its own weather station that regularly records fierce gales and frost, even in summer. These conditions can turn a simple hike into a dangerous situation very quickly, much like how a riptide can catch swimmers off guard at sea. The unpredictable weather is why the original chairlift was replaced with the more stable funicular railway. Fortunately, we were blessed with typical Scottish summer weather that July day. A mix of sun and clouds with surprisingly little wind. The conditions were perfect for our adventure, though we were woefully unprepared. I was wearing trainers instead of proper hiking boots, and neither of us had brought much gear. Looking back, we were quite naive about mountain safety. The hike itself wasn't particularly challenging. Starting from the base, which is already quite high up the mountain, we found a clear path that climbs steadily upward. It's not technically difficult to navigate, just tiring because you're constantly ascending. My partner wanted to rush to the top, which I thought was a bit mad, but we pressed on at a steady pace. Looking back, we were clearly out of our depth when it came to proper mountain preparation. The summit views were absolutely spectacular. The sheer slopes stretched out below us, and we could see for miles across the highland landscape. One of the highlights was encountering a herd of reindeer near the top. It was magical to see them up close in their natural habitat. Because we'd walked up rather than taking the funicular, we had access to the actual summit, unlike the railway passengers who are restricted to the visitor centre and viewing area. After exploring the peak and taking in the breathtaking scenery, we decided to take the easy way down via the funicular railway. Perhaps it was a bit lazy, but we'd already done the hard work getting up there, and the ride down was quite enjoyable. Once we reached the bottom, we drove to a nearby loch. That's the Scottish word for lake. and settled by the shore to rest and recover. We were tired from our early start and all the walking, so we just lay there relaxing by the water's edge. The peaceful Highland Loch was quite different from the seafaring adventures we'd had on previous holidays along Scotland's rugged coastline. Here, we could float buoyantly in the calm, fresh water without worrying about ocean currents or waves. That's when we noticed our faces felt oddly tight. Looking at each other, we realised we were both seriously sunburnt. Our faces were bright red, despite the cloudy conditions and cool mountain air. We hadn't bothered with sun cream because it didn't seem particularly sunny and the temperature at the summit was quite cold. I suspect we got burnt on the mountain itself. At altitude, even when it's not hot, the UV rays are much stronger and you're more exposed to the sun's radiation. The combination of thinner air and reflected light from the rocky surfaces probably did us in. We spent the rest of our holiday looking rather foolish, slathering on cream and hiding behind hats and sunglasses. It was quite embarrassing, really, but it made for a memorable story. Despite our sunburnt faces, the trip to Cairngorm was absolutely wonderful. I thoroughly recommend climbing it if you ever get the chance. Just to remember to bring proper sun protection, even on cloudy days. The walk to the summit is definitely worth it for the views and the sense of achievement. And if hiking isn't your thing, the funicular railway offers a good alternative. Though do check it's still running before you make the journey. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Short and sweet. I do hope you've had a fantastic week, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. Take very good care, and goodbye.